Nate Diaz's call out of Masvidal was baffling, it was refreshing, and it was perfect. I think if we're using words, I will also throw in unexpected. Where I think all of you, myself included, all of us, believed Nate was going to go with a call out, was going to be right back to Conor McGregor. Nate's made it very clear as, man, I need a bunch of money to fight. I need a bunch of reasons. Well, there's only your contract's your contract. And if you're going to try to negotiate outside of your contract, you need a goddamn good reason to do it. Conor McGregor could be that reason. Absolutely. Nate went after Masvidal. Now, the reason I like that is I just don't think Nate versus Conor is going to happen. If that's going to happen, it could happen at any time. Right now is a great time. No problem do you have for me with that. But it was always kind of viewed, accurately so, as a fight that works at any point. It could work later in their careers. It could work if Conor was coming off a championship win or a skid. It could work whether Nate was a top contender or coming off a loss. The fight just works. Okay, great. Put that in your back pocket. Here's one of the problems that I think that it has with working right now. Nate Diaz is going to fight at 170 pounds. His days of returning to 155 are behind him, in my opinion. I don't think Conor's ever going to fight at 170 again. And I know those two fights with Nate were both at 170, but it's been largely believed, including by me, if they were to do it again, they would do it at 155. And the only reason it happened at 170 in the first place was on an accident, if you guys recall what happened, and then it had to happen the second time there because Conor demanded it because he didn't want any changes as he tried to fix that outcome, of which he successfully did. But if you're going to go to the third fight, Conor would have a very good right to say, I need to return to my division. I need to get wins and rack things up within my division to propel myself within the division. Okay. So I think that takes Conor off the board for right now. Point being, if Nate would have wasted his breath on Conor, it would have been just that. It would have been such a wonderful opportunity that Conor likely would not have even responded to, aside from tweeting a response, which is still fun, but not the same. George Masvidal was there. They put a camera on him. George was excited. When Nate was asked afterwards on the set of ESPN why Masvidal? And guys, before you go, what do you mean why Masvidal? Masvidal's coming off a big win. That fight makes all this sense. Yeah, I get it. Just generally, the bad guys stick with the bad guys. They just generally do. They understand one another. They get it. They cheer for each other. There's not very many of them. A bad guy called out a bad guy. That is one of the most guaranteed box office draws ever. It's just very rare. So we asked Nate, why did you call out Masvidal? What? Why? Nate said, man, and I'm changing the words, but here's what he said. Here's what his message was. He said, look, it's not at all what you think. I actually really like Masvidal, but I've been here for a long time, and I don't get any respect for it. My brother's been around a long time. He doesn't get credit for that. Masvidal, he goes, I went and looked. Masvidal's been doing it longer than me. Why has something great not happened to him? Look around this building, hear the cheers, see who sold this thing out. See the fact that this is the biggest box office gate in the history of California. And it's because of me. I have a golden ticket to hand to somebody, and I am going to honor what I say and what I believe, which is the guys that have been around and found a way to stay durable and stay relevant deserve some credit. And I'm going to extend that golden ticket to George Masvidal because he deserves it. Cool. You got me. You have got my interest. I want that fight to happen. I love the call out. That fight will happen. Nate asked for it. George has already accepted it. That fight will happen. I think that's a lot of fun. But I also like the reasoning behind it, right? We got to have whys. We've talked about this, guys. The 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. I am satisfied with Nate's answer on the why. It is not as brash. It is not as compelling. It is not as rankings driven. But I get the why. And even if it comes from a tip of the hat of respect to another competitor's hard work, you still have two bad guys. You have two bad guys with the same goal and one cage. That equals a lot of fun. At least for me.